Thanks for joining in, everybody. This is Tony, the Geeky Agent from RE/MAX here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And we're just continuing our little interview series, a little sneak peek series that we're doing leading up to the OREA REALiTY 2020 conference in Niagara Falls. We've had my broker of record, Conrad Zerini, on. We've had Danny Wood on. And today we're going to have Kathleen Black. Kathleen is leading the panel on brokerages versus teams on day 3. So without further ado, because I know you've all been waiting, I am going to bring her up here and unmute her so she can talk and stuff. So she is on her way, and there she is. Hey, Kathleen, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Tony. Thanks for having me on here. I'm excited to talk about the panel.
Good. Yeah, I'm just happy that you can hear me and all that.
Yeah,
kind
me
of stuff.
too. That's a bonus.
It's always good when the technology works. It doesn't always, yeah. So thankfully it does. But happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for coming on this awesome day. So I haven't really talked to you very much. I know we've kind of bumped into each other at other conferences and stuff up in Blue Mountain and here and there. And so you run your own coaching business at this point. You've built it all up yourself, Kathleen Black Coaching, basically. I know you've done the team summits in Niagara Falls and other places as well. So you're very much a team-focused coach, that's so far as I am aware. Is that sort of a good summary of what you're doing and what you're into? Or like, I'll let you sort of flesh it out for everybody there. Yeah,
our niche that we're, if we're known for something, it's definitely team. I mean, it's been 11 years full time working with top producers to build out, mega teams or top producing teams. So we also work with individual agents. It's really cool when you actually take, team systems and implement them in an individual agent's business, which might sound kind of weird. How do you take team systems and put them in a individual agent's business? But I just want to make sure, hopefully you can still see me because I can't still see you. So I'm just making sure. But anyway, it's pretty cool to see the efficiency and what can happen with their platform as well.
Yes, I can see you. I just
good.
the screen.
Okay.
I make it focus just on you sometimes so I can just listen to you and I can do whatever I have to do back here.
Okay, awesome. I was just making sure.
Yeah, no problem. This live stuff is tricky sometimes. So no, that's pretty much what I thought and what I'm familiar with as far as what you do. I guess, so you're going to be running you're moderating the panel. So you're going to have my broker, Conrad Zerini's there. Matthew Regan from Roll the Page is going to be there. I'm drawing a blank now.
Oh, and Dan Jemis from in Windsor. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I know, was there going to be another person on there or not? I think it was still kind of open. It was either adding people possibly before then or not.
Yeah, we had a couple of switches with people. Potentially, we tried to switch dates to conference. There's a whole bunch of events happening that week. But yeah, no, REALiTY kind of said, hey, this is what we want to talk about. They left it. I could pick who to be on the panel. So we have kind of an interesting dynamic with a broker, a team leader in a brokerage, and then a team that's moved and is now a boutique brokerage, but they only run as a team. So the three bring, different perspectives for sure.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously you're going to be discussing that ahead of time. The question I guess I have going into is, especially in recent years, sort of that line between a brokerage and a team has become fuzzier, at least, right? You've got some teams, like I was just approached by someone mentioning that within their brokerage, they have like this mega team of like almost 500 agents, like within the brokerage. At least that's what they told me. So I'm like, in my mind, like I know like here in Hamilton where I'm at, we've got a large brokerage with like total of about 600 agents or so with lots of teams in it. Then you've got these little, like you mentioned, like these little boutique brokerages would maybe have 15 or 20 individual agents working, but they are considered a brokerage. So how do you, I guess, draw the line or define like what a brokerage is versus what a team is?
Well, it's a great question because I mean, I think it's also, there's the line between brokerage and team, and then there's the line between team and group or team and partnership. I think not all brokerages are built the same, and not all teams certainly are not built the same. Some give the industry a great name and some not as much, like anything else, right? But I think, the difference between brokerage and team, it's a good question. I mean, a team is running, their systems, their protocols are sometimes more comprehensive, like they're more involved in, you know, the different steps in the transaction with the client, the minimum standard for that, you know, how we communicate with clients, what our values are. We have a consistent transaction process. So, you know, every buyer and seller on a team would have a very similar experience when it comes to values and client experience and client services. Whereas with the brokerage, because people are contractors, right? They're independent contractors. I mean, there's a lot more
Flexibility for sure.
yeah,
That's kind of what I was
yeah,
thinking too, because like really, I'm not beholden to my brokerage aside from, you know, standards, marketing standards for things like logo use and that sort of thing, and obviously paying my desk fees and whatever else I have to do. Ultimately, I can, as an individual, I can run the business however I want, right? I can sort of present myself how I want. Like you're saying, within a team dynamic, you've got a team leader who's much more I guess and again, there's variation, I guess, but much more in control, like you say, about what the message is and how you like checklists for this is how we run open houses and this is how we run certain things. I think that's kind of the way I see it, I guess. But obviously, there's variation.
Well, and the perspective, right? Like being on a team, you can be connected with the perspective of a hub of people doing, whether it's 100 deals a year, it's 500 deals a year, it's 1,000 deals a year. And I think the perspective for those producers is extremely valuable for our industry, but for people on the team as well, right? They're connected to this, you know, very unique viewpoint of what the business looks like when you're connected to that much business all the time. But they're also connected to a philosophy of what works on that scale, you know, where are clients happy, like what are the most important things that we need to make sure as a team we're all doing consistently so that the public is happy and there, you know, there's a positive reputation for our brand. And I think that's been something really unique teams can do phenomenally well. The good teams is take that experience and transfer, you know, 10 years worth of top production experience to a new recruit in, you know, 18 months, 2 years. And brokerages have had on the other side of it different demands, right? Demands for more leads, demands for lower costs. Like the model, I'm not saying all brokerages, I know I'm being a generalist right now. I acknowledge that. Please don't think I don't for anyone else. But, you know, there's been so much demand, and then there's also been smaller and smaller margins on the broker side. So, I mean, we have agents going, I want more leads, where at the end of the day, you don't really want more leads, you want more deals. A team saying, what works to turn leads into deals consistently, because we have different departments and all of them have to work or the whole team doesn't function, right? So it's a very different, I think, perspective on how the two businesses are run.
For sure. And are you from your experience, again, we're talking very generally because like there's so many different types of brokerages and so many different types of teams within brokerages and all that sort of stuff. But have you seen the brokerages sort of, because I know it's kind of happening where I am, where Conrad, at least who's going to be on the panel, and he'll elaborate more, I guess, is starting to provide more services in a way that a team does. Like he's fleshed out like a marketing department and this and that. And I know like we have some of the larger Remax teams in our brokerage, like there's the Golfy team and a few others that also have their own marketing coordinators and that sort of thing, because they're developing at this point, like running about 25 agents or something like that. And then as the teams get larger, I think that's where the line kind of starts to get blurred, because you've got a team, say, of like 50 agents in some cases. And so those teams I'm noticing have like their own transaction coordinators, their own marketing people, their own office managers even, and stuff like that. So it's like a mini brokerage within the brokerage, even though they might rely on the brokerage, say, for all of the administrative stuff and the accounting and all that sort of thing, like the compliance stuff with Rico or whoever, right? What kind of trends are you seeing generally? Because I know, like I said, you focus mainly on larger teams and stuff. Like, where are they going? Like, what kind of services are they providing to their agents, or like, what are you noticing?
Yeah, I mean, we focus on building people up to the larger teams. Now, luckily, we built with a lot of teams to the point where they are quite large. And I mean, at your brokerage, you've got Wolcott team, I mean, extremely systematic and strategic in how they run, right? And their in-house support people. So trends with what, I think it's all over the place. I mean, we're seeing some of the brokerages encompass kind of team models within the brokerage. We work with brokerages, for example, who have all of their agents go through a specific training program that they pass before they get access to to leads. Why?
Right.
Because they know the teams know. Hey, if we know how to call, if we know what to say, if we know how to nurture these online opportunities, we can literally easily double our conversion rates. So you've got brokerages going, we're going to have a mini team dynamic where we'll call, we'll either give you the lead or we'll book the appointment, but like a team, you're going to go through onboarding, you're going to have minimum, skill set in order to ensure that you're turning this into an actual, happy client and an income for yourself as an agent. So we're seeing those kind of morphed models, which I think are really important. I think more and more as an individual agent, like it's not just the teams, but it's also it's the teams offering more, but it's also the consumer demanding more. And as an individual agent, if you're not with a brokerage who's part of your team, like I think the way that we say it is, if you want to have the ultimate success and freedom, you need a world-class team. You just do. And that team might be your brokerage, your manager, like you said, like the marketing support they give and coaching, training, accountability. But I think everybody needs that to run a world-class organization. And I don't think, last year at Ultimate Team Summit, we had a panel. We had Paul Barron up, we had Deborah Bain up, we had Nelson Goulart up. And we were talking really about, like, we call it the pro team brokerages. So we have, pro team mentality. And I think, in GTA, we're kind of, in my world, spoiled that it seems like all brokerages are pro team. But the reality is, we work with people across North America, and there are still many brokerages who are really unsure about teams. They don't want to support the teams. They make it really difficult for them to expand. And, they kind of end up to push the teams out the door. But end of the day, I think the teams are really leading a vision of what's possible on the sales side in our industry, and how efficient we actually can be, and how we can take new agents with phenomenal training and have them sell as much as top producers in our industry. I think they're really leading the way with a beautiful vision there, and the progressive brokers are listening. And like you were saying, like at Escarpment, going, how can we still be part of your extended team, even though you're running so many things in-house? Because most of the teams we've supported over the years, they don't necessarily want to be their own brokerages. In fact, most of them don't, right? They don't want it. They want to focus on what they're great at, the sales side, and aligning their people.
They should.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. And I think, from my perspective, I know I've had this discussion in-house and with other people as well. I've never understood why the brokerages don't take an active role in, like, the onboarding process. Because like you said, it's fairly easy to get leads. Like, you just shell out a bunch of money and they'll pump a bunch of leads at you. But it comes down to the conversion piece, right? It's like, are you able to satisfy the client's needs? Like, give them what they're looking for, what they need, and then bring them through to a transaction and a completed sale or purchase. Because if you can't do that part of it, like, a mountain of leads isn't going to do anything for you, right? So I've always kind of wondered about that myself, is like, why, and being like, if I was a broker owner kind of mentality, right? If I owned a brokerage and I was doing this, and I had a bunch of independent contractors going out and doing business in my name, sort of thing, I would kind of want a little bit more control over it. So maybe I'm sort of more team oriented in that kind of thing. But there's something for everybody, I guess. More generally, I mean, that kind of covers, I guess, the scope of kind of what you're going to be talking about on the panel. But I don't want to cover the whole thing, because people can go to the panel, right? Go check it out. I was going to ask more for you, like, what kind of services are you providing these days, like within Kathleen Black Coaching? What are the kind of options you give out to people there? So we've mentioned, obviously, you work with teams and building people up to becoming large teams. You work with brokerages and individual agents. What kind of services do you offer? Like, what's your elevator pitch? I guess I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're trying to encompass the future and the vision. And I think, for our teams, it's like we're trying to go from top producers and to, like, highly kind of conscious, evolved into collectives, which are teams. And, we run our business the exact same way, that we have a collective, a team of experts who have expertise in all the different areas of building out a real estate business. Because just like an individual agent, struggles to try to be all things consulting style people. Teams are trying to take each person's genius and put them in the right place where they can thrive and be passionate and love what they do and get superior results. There's an elevated experience for the client. We've built our company the exact same way. We know the future is not, my name on everything and I'm the be end all for team coaching in our company. That's not how we've built it. We have experts when it comes to hiring admin, training admin, contracts and agreements for hiring as well as team recruitment, budgets, economic model. There's so many teams that are not profitable. There's so many teams that if the team leaders stopped selling or sold less, they wouldn't make enough to be able to cover the team, let alone the lifestyle that they've built up over the years in the industry. We're really passionate about supporting and protecting the team model and team leaders to have a viable business to sell, to have residual income. We have experts when it comes to recruitment. We have experts when it comes to sales training, when it comes to inside sales training. We're behind and have built or managed the 2 top inside sales departments in Canada. And they rival the results for the top inside sales departments in the US. So we're bringing the best of the best together. So we support team training people on teams, team leaders, strategic direction. We support individual agents. Any possible thing a business could need to go from like 15 deals to 1,500 deals per year or more. We have the resources for it. We have the strategy, but most important, we have the perspective that makes it work, right? So, if we say it takes 10 years to test something, go into research and development, 2 years to duplicate. For us, it's model the best, forget the rest. What's working for the top 1%? Everything else is just wasting our time at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I know that's more like your recent materials that I've seen come out. It's that top 1%. Was it Life, I believe? I think.
Yeah, that's from the book. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just released a book and it's going to come to bookstores and publishers and all that fun stuff. But yeah, the top 1% life. But that's actually about, let's set our goals for the top 1% life and build a business that gets you there, instead of let's try to have this top 1% business that exhausts me and I don't have time and I don't have the lifestyle I want, which unfortunately we see a lot in real estate, right?
Yeah. And I think within at least, this is kind of an ongoing thing, but I know within the last, say, 4 or 5 years, I've seen kind of a shift that way. And I know the talk that I saw you give at, I think it was at the Blue Mountain conference last summer, was kind of in that same thing. It was about, the business supporting the lifestyle versus, giving up the lifestyle to support the business kind of thing. And that sort of mind shift, I guess. Right. I know, I guess, how did you build your business? Because you started off, I think, at Dan Plowman at one point.
Yeah, so I ran Dan Plowman Team Systems, so I own 50% of that, and that's the coaching company for anybody asking. There's a sales team which I used to sell on, and then there's a coaching company. So yeah, that coaching company actually had gotten into a lot of debt. Different owners wanted to go in different directions, and so I said, hey, no problem. I'll take over the company. I've never run one, but why not?
Sure.
But I need 50% ownership and 100% decision making. And thank goodness I did that, because we did turn the company around. I redid all of the content that we worked with and brought some of the more efficiencies we were using, out with clients face to face all the time. And it was 6 figures of debt, and I'm really happy, because I'll say this: when you start a company like mine without debt, when you've run a previous one for 5 years with a massive amount of debt, it feels like you're flying, right? So I sold my shares to Dan December. I was able to start the new company December 1st, 2015. So the first year with this business, we did 38% more than the other one ever did. Second year, 68%. So, this business honestly came from the vision of what I thought I would do at Dan Plowman Team Systems. And when I left, I wasn't quite sure, but I realized, what's in your heart and in your head, you just continue on and keep building. So yeah, it's been a joy working there and here.
That's awesome. No, it's obviously the company's built on, and your systems and stuff are built on a long history of experience and trial and error and all this other kind of stuff. So we're benefiting from basically coming in at the end of it all and saying, hey, show me all the good stuff.
Now, we've done it right from scratch to these huge teams, and we know what it takes. But I think, to be honest, there's so many teams popping up. Even in our organization, we notice the idea that you can build for 6 months and have this team that does 200, 300, 500 deals a year. That's not the reality, right? The people we work with, they've worked hard for a long, long time to build the businesses we have. We were just lucky to work with implementers and visionaries like we did.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So I do appreciate you coming on. We just wanted to keep this sort of a short chat. It's been about
Yeah,
20 minutes or so.
yeah,
So where, if people are interested in contacting you and for
yeah.
coaching or for whatever else, or for speaking or
Mhm.
engagements, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, I'll give you the main one because if you go to our main website, you can download a copy of the book for free, a digital copy. It's
Mhm.
it takes dot team. So it takes dot team, and you
Okay.
can see Ultimate Team Summit there and all of our different coaching products. And we do strategy calls all the time. So if you want to chat, connect, it's not a sales pitch. It's actually a pretty good strategy chat, and we really enjoy doing them.
Awesome. So we
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you at Reality. Are you there just for the one day and the third day? Or are you kind of hanging around the other days, or?
Yeah, I'm going to be there, well, all 3 days, but both of the two main
Yep.
conference days. Yeah, I'll be there. I look
Wednesday and
forward to seeing
Thursday.
you as well.
Okay, awesome. I'll see if we'll send you out the invite to the haunted house, because I think there's a whole
Oh,
bunch of us going down to Clifton Hill or something. I don't know,
oh,
but
fun.
we'll have some fun, and we'll learn a lot and stuff. So thank you for coming on again. So you will be on the Wednesday with all the breakout sessions. I believe it's around noontime. I think you guys are just before the Purple Brick session in
We
the
are
arena.
the
Yes.
Thursday, right? I think it's the
Thursday. Yeah,
yeah.
Tuesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday. So third
Yeah.
day is you're on the Thursday. There's a general meeting on the Tuesday. Wednesday is the big keynotes like Seth Godin and Molly Bloom, and then all the breakout sessions on Thursday. So
Mhm.
look forward to seeing you then. And thank you so much. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Talk soon. Thanks so much, Tony.
Bye now.
Bye.
So that was Kathleen Black from Kathleen Black Coaching. As I mentioned, she will be moderating the Teams versus Brokerage panel on the Thursday of the conference, which is February 25th to the 27th. So I will just put that up here for you so you can see this as well. In Niagara Falls, Canada, February 25th to the 27th, 2020, in Niagara Falls at the Scotiabank Convention Center. So if you are a real estate agent, you might as well sign up. Go down, have some fun. There's going to be a bunch of, I know realtors personally who are coming in from the West Coast, East Coast, all the other provinces in between, just to be there to learn, to network. As I mentioned, on the Tuesday is a lot of OREA, Ontario Real Estate Association business. So there's an annual general meeting. There are some elections happening and all this sort, and other presentations happening. On the Wednesday is the bigger sort of keynote addresses by people like I mentioned, Seth Godin from the Purple Cow book, if you're familiar with him, Molly Bloom and Rob Hahn and a bunch of other people. And then the Thursday is a bunch of the breakout sessions where Kathleen, Dan Wood that we've spoken to, and a few other people that I'll be bringing on will be speaking as well. Smaller half-hour breakout sessions with more I guess hands-on information, I guess, is the best way to think of it. Like Kathleen will be talking about teams versus brokerage, but then other people like Dan Wood will be talking about social media and doing video and providing things like apps and things that you can go and apply to your business right away. So all kinds of stuff for pretty much everybody who's interested. Again, February 25th to the 27th in Niagara Falls. I do appreciate y'all tuning in, and we want to keep this discussion relatively short. I hope you enjoy the rest of your lunch hour and the rest of your Valentine's Day. And as always, I love you guys. You know I really do, especially on Valentine's Day. And as always, as I mentioned, I will talk to you again very, very soon. So bye for now.